Good morning. We're back. It's hockey time. 6 games tonight. So Tuesday is one of the more busy days of the week. We got 12 games coming up on Thursday. We have no games on Friday, and then Saturday we've got I think 14. So that makes sense. It's back to the old schedule, I guess, where some days we don't have much hockey, and other days there's too much. If that's a thing, I understand some people there is no such thing. When you're trying to follow all these statistics and trying to follow every game, it can be a little taxing. All right, first up, Colorado, 2-0. Their leading scorers, McKinnon with 2 goals and an assist, Rantanen and Soderberg also with a goal and 2 assists, so 3 points for each player. Um, they're in Columbus. Columbus is 1-1. Panarin and Dubinsky are tied for the lead for scoring for them with a goal and an assist each. And then there's 7 players with 1 point after them. The hits leaders on each team, Zadorov for the Colorado Avalanche with 7, and Boone Jenner with 4 on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Power play, 28.6% for Colorado, 100% penalty kill. That's what you want to see. 11.1% power play for Columbus, 75% penalty kill. The power play was a major problem for Columbus last year, and apparently it's going to be this year as well. And at least through 2 games, right? And that's kind of what we assume. We go, yeah, they're 1 for 9. Yeah, that's about right. So they have to turn this around early, and they have the players to do it. That's the weird part. Columbus has guys that can score. They just aren't able to do it in the power play. Save percentage, Varlamov has a 948 save percentage in those 2 games. Korpisalo and Bobrovsky split the first 2 games. Korpisalo has a 900 save percentage, Bobrovsky a 914. So, just looking at it, it looks like a game that, yeah, Columbus should win it. They're at home. Colorado on the road last year was a bit of a misadventure. They're going to want to turn that around this year, and that doesn't carry over from year to year, but we're still going based a lot on last year because that's the data we have, right? So Colorado has a chance to change that narrative tonight with the win in Columbus. Columbus really needs to get off to a good start here because it feels like the division is wide open and they don't want to be one of the teams that gets left behind. And that's very easy to do with how competitive everything is league-wide. That being said, let us move on to the San Jose Sharks and the Philadelphia Flyers. And I just have to come out and ask a question. How is San Jose 1-2? Honestly. Evander Kane has 2 goals and no assists. He's the leader for scoring. And then there's 10 players with 1 point. Why can't San Jose score? It's a good question. And either Coach DeBoer figures out the answer, or he'll find himself out of a job. The pressure to win in San Jose because of the acquisition of Erik Karlsson, because they're trying to entice him to stay long term, that pressure to win is huge. I don't think there's any coach under more pressure right now today than DeBoer to turn this around before it gets worse. If San Jose is below 500 after, say, 20 games, their odds of re-signing Karlsson drop dramatically. Karlsson does not want to go through a rebuild. He doesn't want to go through anything like that. So he needs to see the team's doing really well. Or Doug Wilson needs to sit down and get this figured out now before this becomes a problem. Evander Kane's also the hit leader on San Jose with 8 hits through 3 games. Their power play is a 0. Yeah. Their penalty kill is at 75%. And Martin Jones has an 859 save percentage. There is no part of San Jose's game right now that you look at and go, that's a sign they're going to pull out of it. Special teams? Nope. Goaltending? Nope. Goals? Nah. There's nothing there. And that's the disturbing thing. So they have tonight to turn that around. Jones can save 30 out of 31 or something like that. And everything can start turning around. On the Philadelphia side of things, they're 1-1. They want to win because I don't think Gritty accepts losses. I'm not trying to intimate that Gritty might devour members of his own team if they fail to perform for him, but I'm not saying he won't. Simmons leads the way with 2 goals, no assists. Vorobiev and Hag are next up with one goal and 1 assist each. We don't expect Hag to remain at a point a game pace, but it's early in the season, right? Haig also leads the way in hits, tied with Simmons there as well with 8. Their power play, 14.3%. Their penalty kill, 85.7%. And for save percentage, Elliott's 898. It's below average, but it's still better than Jones. This may end up being a high-scoring game. This is the kind of game that, San Jose is desperate. They're on a back-to-back, which is going to make it worse for San Jose. They may end up having a ton of energy up front and to start the game, and then towards the end it could peter out. And, if you're a San Jose fan, that's a worst-case scenario. Because Philly, they do have that explosive attack. You don't see Giroux or Voracek on that list, but I can assure you Giroux and Voracek are going to be just as dangerous this year as they were last year, because they're pretty dangerous every year. Last year was a career year for Giroux. I don't expect him to score 100 again, but I would not be surprised to see him hit 80. And with the way San Jose is coming in and playing, this is the kind of game where you'll see Giroux get 3 points. So it's going to be an interesting tale for San Jose, and I trying to figure out how this is going to work out. Because both San Jose and Vegas have been underwhelming so far this year, and those were the teams that we all picked to finish 1 and 2 in the division, and the channel picked them to be 1 and 2 as well. That's the beauty of having the channel do a vote as well. Okay, and next up is Vancouver and Carolina. So here's Vancouver at 1 and 1, led by Elias Pettersson at 3 goals and 2 assists. Goldobin 1 goal and 2 assists, and Eriksson with 3 assists. If you're wondering how Eriksson and Goldobin are 2 and 3 in scoring, they play on the same line as Pettersson. That'll do it. Your hits leader, there's a tie between Delzato and Virtanen with 6 each. Virtanen's playing probably the best hockey he's played in his career, and I understand that people are going to say that's a low bar. Fine, but in Vancouver, we look for any kind of ray and sunshine when it comes to Virtanen, and you won't put that out for me right now. I don't expect them to win this tonight because Carolina looks damn solid right now. Michael Ferland, 2 goals and 2 assists. Jordan Staal, 2 goals and 2 assists. And Sebastian Aho with a goal and 2 assists. In those 3 games, undefeated in regulation. They're coming off that 8-5 win against the Rangers. This could get ugly. Your hits leaders, Jordan Staal with 13. Power plays, Vancouver, 28.6%. Their penalty kills at 76.9%. For Carolina, their power plays at 12.5%. Their penalty kills at 80%. Save percentages, Markstrom had a 900 in those 2 games against Calgary. And Carolina is playing McElhinney tonight. McElhinney has a 969 save percentage. Mrazek 841. Now, if McElhinney plays lights out tonight and saves, like, say, 28 out of 29 or 26 out of 27, at what point do we start looking at him stealing starts from Peter Mrazek? Honest question. Mrazek's played 2 games. This will be McElhinney's second. And again, like I said, if McElhinney plays as well as he did in the first game, we can all talk about ages all we want. And we can say, well, Mrazek is younger. Who cares? If it's all about winning, it's about winning now. It's not about winning later. That was part of my argument with Toronto was, yeah, McElhinney's older, but you're supposed to be going for the cup this year, right? So you can't just look at age as what dictates who your backup is. So I think Carolina's going to have an interesting question when Scott Darling comes back. I think they're going to have to ask themselves, do we really want to put McElhinney on waivers? Because I guarantee Toronto's getting him back on waivers, and then they're sending him right to the Marlies. Because I think, honestly, Dubas figured he'd slide through. Probably because of his age, he figured he'd slide through. I don't think Dubas had any inkling that he was going to end up getting taken on waivers. And him and Pickard, I don't think he's worried as much about Pickard, but I think McElhinney would probably bother him on some level. Because Pickard didn't play for Toronto outside of the 1 game last year. So let us move on from that to Calgary. So Calgary coming out of the 2-game series with Vancouver, 1-1, same as Vancouver. They're in Nashville tonight against the Predators, who are making their home debut. They were 2-0 on the road trip. They just finished. Tkachuk, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points, leads the way for Calgary scorers. Johnny Gaudreau, 1 goal, 3 assists for him. And then Monahan and Lindholm, both with 2 goals and 1 assist to be 3rd and 4th in the scoring. Hits-wise, Bennett is the leader with 5. And Bennett is a guy who has to be looking over his shoulder because there's some guys who are pretty darn good players who could push him out of the lineup. And I do wonder how long Bennett has before Calgary says, okay, throws up the white flag and trades him. Their power play sits at 23.1%. Their penalty kill at 71.4%. Smith, not great through 2 games. 810 save percentage. He needs to play well. And here's the bad news. They're in Nashville. Nashville, like I said, 2-0. Subban, Sissons, and Ekholm, all of them have a goal and 2 assists to lead the team in scoring. Ronaldo leads in hits with 8. So Zach Ronaldo's played both games, and we haven't heard anything about suspensions yet. This is good. This is good. Zach Ronaldo's an interesting guy in that we all pay attention to all of his controversial or over-the-line plays, but he can be a decent fourth liner. And he can be, I'm not going to say deterrent, but he can be a guy who keeps the other team honest. As long as he is not being Zach Ronaldo, the guy who goes over the edge. Nashville's penalty kill, 0. So no power play goals. Or nope, their power play's at 0. With Calgary's penalty kill at 71.4, it'll be interesting to see what gives there. Their penalty kill, Nashville's, is at 80%. So, Nashville is lucky to be 2-0 without a power play. And now they got Calgary coming in, a team that needs to get its penalty kill up. So one of those is going to have to give. Either Calgary's going to come out of tonight with a pretty decent penalty kill, and Nashville's going to be frustrated, or Nashville's going to get off the snide, and Calgary's going to be talking about their penalty kill. It's early, but it's not too early to start talking about concerns, teams that might be in trouble, like, I don't know, San Jose, for instance. Next up, the Kings. So the Kings are coming off of a win, and an impressive one at that. Iafallo, 2 goals and 1 assist. Iafallo's one of my favorite players on the Kings. Toffoli, 1 goal, 2 assists for him, and then Kopitar with 2 goals. I think if the Kings manage to keep guys like Iafallo and Kempe in prominent spots on the roster, they're good. If they mix the minutes so that Kovalchuk isn't being overplayed, I think they'll be good as well. Their leader in hits is Wagner with 6. Austin Wagner, good kid. And we'll see where he fits in as the year goes along. Does he get more minutes? Does he play the full season in LA? We'll see. Their power play is at 0. Their penalty kill is at 71.4. So the fact they haven't scored on the power play and their penalty kill has been not up to LA standards. It's kind of amazing they're 1-0-1. Campbell with a 947 save percentage will be starting tonight, I would imagine. I haven't heard a confirmation on that, but Quick's on the IR for at least a week. Quick, 909 save percentage, won't be playing tonight, and I can't see them putting in Budaj. Campbell's been great, which is good news and bad news. It's good news for Kings fans. It might be bad news for Quick, because Campbell looks really, really solid. So Quick may get less starts if Campbell keeps this up. Maybe they'll split it like 60-40 instead of 70-30 or 80-20. On the Winnipeg side of things, Winnipeg's 1-1. They had a mixed bag on their first 2 games, both on the road. Now they're at home. And at a home opener, Connors, their leading scorer, 2 goals and an assist. Line A and Wheeler both have a goal and an assist. Their hits leader is Tanev with 6. Their power play clicked at 20% in those first 2 games. Their penalty kill, 66.7. So again, you have a team that hasn't scored on the power play and a team whose penalty kill numbers through the first couple of games, not great. Something's got to give once again. Hellebuck, a 922 save percentage. He played well in the first game. He played okay in the second. And it is up to Hellebuck to keep Winnipeg in contender status. You look at the big difference between Winnipeg in 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, goaltending. Goaltending was the biggest part. They scored lots of goals in 2016, 2017, but their goaltending was spotty. So the fact that Hellebuck made that huge step forward last year was a huge part of the reason why they ended up in the playoffs. So they have to maintain that, which isn't easy in this day and age, because there is a lot of parity, ton of parity. Toronto. So the Stanley Cup champions of 2019, Toronto Maple Leafs, which a lot of people are going to tell you They could be. They go into Dallas. This is going to be a huge test for Toronto. Chicago was a test in that Chicago could hang with them for goals. Now, Dallas is a test for a whole other reason. Dallas, through their first 2 games, has looked excellent defensively. So Toronto's leading scorers, Austin Matthews, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points. He's on pace for about 200 points, which sounds like about where there are Leaf fans who think that he's that good. Riley, 2 goals and 4 assists for him. I think 162 or 164 point pace might be a little high for him, but we're early and I'm not going to be a doom and gloom guy. And Tavares with 4 goals in those 3 games. He's now on pace for about 100 goals. So there you go. It's a record season for Toronto all around. Matthews ends up with about 200 and 250 points. Tavares 100 goals. Riley 165. And then they lose to Boston in the first round. Psych. Kidding. You gotta let them know you're being sarcastic, Shannon. Hits. Your hits leaders for Toronto. Dermott and Hyman both have 7 hits. Their power play is just killing it at 42.9%, and their penalty kill pretty solid as well at 88.9% through the first 3 games. Anderson's save percentage, 898. He's likely starting tonight. I haven't heard for sure, but I would imagine he is. Because Sparks, with his 806 save percentage, dear Lord. And the funny thing is that people are going to say, well, he didn't have a very good defense in front of him. Yes, but it's the same defense that was in front of Anderson, and Anderson's save percentage is about 100 points ahead of him. And I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't see what other people see in Sparks. I'm just going right out and saying it, and at some point this season I will probably eat my words, but I don't see it. And I know he did well in the American Hockey League. There are a lot of players that do very well in the American Hockey League. It doesn't always equal NHL success. There have been a lot of goaltenders who've been stellar at the American League level, come up to the NHL, and it just doesn't work. And it works in reverse, where a goaltender might look iffy at the American League level, comes up to the NHL, and he's stellar. Andrew Hammond being a good example for the Ottawa Senators when he went on that huge run. Now, on the Dallas side of things, Jamie Benn, 2 goals and 3 assists for him. Sagan and Radulov with 2 goals and 2 assists each. Their hits leader, Roman Polak. That's right, Polak and Carrick are going to be on the ice, and it'll be interesting to see how that works. That's going to be quite the dynamic. 8 hits for Polak. Their power play's killing it, too, at 42.9%. And their penalty kill, 100. Why is their penalty kill at 100? Because when you've got a goaltender who in 2 games has a save percentage of 984, odds are he didn't allow that goal on the power play. Bishop's been fantastic. The question with Bishop is always his ability to stay healthy. But for right now, knock on wood, it looks okay. Everything looks okay right now. My only concern, of course, is if something happens with Bishop. I like Khudobin, but as a starter and with what we'd have as the backup then, it would make me very nervous. So there you go. You're all previewed up for the 6 games tonight. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.